What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to talk about Jerry Jeudy's releases off the line. I think he's one of the most dangerous receivers in college football, and today we're going to break down what makes him so special off the line of scrimmage. And guys, please leave in the comments who you would like to see me break down next. Let's get started. So this first release right here, I want you to see how he stays within his frame. That's the main thing I want you to look at. We're going to watch this thing full speed, then we'll break it down. So 1-2, gets up into this route. Okay, we're not going to focus on the top of the route today. We're just going to focus on the releases. So off the line, he kind of takes this first hesitation step because this DB's in this catch technique almost. He's kind of sitting back here. He's not right up on the line. He's not jamming him. You know he's probably not going to try to get hands on him in this situation. So he takes kind of a hesitation step to get a read on him. Now 1-2, working this crossover. Now, the main thing I want you to see is how his toes stay straight forward and how he stays within his frame, okay? His toes stay straight forward so he can push off the inside arch of his feet. That's how you're explosive, and that's how you generate force. That's how you have sudden feet right there. So his toes stay straight forward. Now, you see how this second step isn't way the hell out here outside of his frame. He stays within his frame so he can be explosive off of this leg. But the other thing, the reason why this gets him so much separation is because of how violent his head and shoulder movements are to the outside, or to the inside, excuse me. So when he goes 1-2, 1-2. He stays within his frame, but his head and shoulders are what make this DB jump inside. We got to tie everything together, guys. So it's not just about the feet. It's not just about our hands off the line. It's about having aggressive head and shoulders. So 1-2, being real explosive, staying within our frame, keeping those toes straight forward, pushing off the inside arch of our foot, which is what gets this DB jumping to the inside, gets his feet out of the ground, kind of gives this hop, and then he's able to burst up into this route. And when he's in the air, when the DB's in the air right here and we're pushing off this foot, we did our job off the line of scrimmage, and now we know we're going to be able to get some separation. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So it comes off, 1-2, gets him jumping inside, gets upfield, and snaps it down. That's the power of having a great release off the line. So now what I want you to see here is I want you to see this DB's stance. It already looks like he's going to bail out of there. He's not even selling like he's just going to press it. He's already going to be backpedaling right off the line of scrimmage. You could tell by his stance. So let's watch the release he decides to choose. He's going to be running a slant route. So 1-2 to the outside, same thing, a crossover, just like we were talking about the last time. It's really not that complicated, guys. You have about 5 things in your arsenal that you can run, and you attack the DB, and you come up to the line with a plan. You have a plan for your hands, and you have a plan for your feet. So already off the line, he's already looking like he's going to bail out of there. His feet are staggered. So the reason why he does this foot fire release, that's what we call this. We call this a foot fire release, where your feet are on fire. You're kind of going here, fast hands, fast feet. He wants to close the gap with him. He wants to get him on his heels, and that's exactly what he did. DB doesn't have hands on him. He's closing the distance with him. 1-2, and he makes this not an open field crossover, but he makes this crossover off the line. Again, what is he doing? Keeping those toes straight forward. He's staying within his frame. His steps aren't super wide. Let's watch this thing again. His steps aren't super wide. He's staying inside of his frame, feet maybe just outside of his shoulders. He's pushing off the inside arch of his feet, and violent head and shoulder movement. Look what it does to this DB. It makes him open up the gate. He's selling like he's just going off of this first step right here. He's sounding like he's just going to take this outside release right now. One step, try to burn him outside. DB opens up this gate, and that's because of that head and shoulder movement here, and you can see how well he's pushing up the inside part of his foot. You can see this shin angle, and that's why he's able to get this DB to open up, and he's able to get separation. This is a great position to be in for Jerry Jeudy, and a bad position for that DB to be in. On a double move, guys, we want to step in the direction we're going to go first. So if we're trying to take inside release or we're running a slant, you want to step with your right leg first, then break off this left, and get up into this route. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. Great job using a foot fire release and then a crossover. Just a nice easy 1-2, staying within his frame, pushing out the inside portion of his feet, keeping his toes straight forward. So 1-2 into the route. Great job by Jerry Jeudy bursting up into this slant. So now I want you to see, he kind of gives this slide release, okay? So he's going to slide here. He's going to be running an out, but he's going to take an inside release against press, okay? There's many ways to skin a cat, guys. There are many ways to run an out. There are many ways to run every single kind of route, and we're going to break down this way right here. So he slides, dips that shoulder, DB misses, and then he comes out of this route. So main thing I want to talk about is that shoulder dip, okay? We got to have a plan for that off the line of scrimmage, okay? So he slides him here. What he's doing with this slide is he's trying to slide this DB off his platform. So he's sliding to the right right here, and he's just going to take off, okay? What he could have done is he could have slid him. There are many ways he could have played this. He could have slid here, gave a move to the outside, then taken an outside release, but he decided to just take this inside release. So he slides, and he sees that he beats this DB. We got to be able to react off the line, off of what the DB does as well. So he slides here, sees the DB didn't really slide with him, so let's just take this inside release. And he knows the DB is going to try to get hands on him with that opposite hand. So what does Jeudy do? He dips that that shoulder, and now he comes out underneath, and the DB completely whiffs. That's the power of having a shoulder dip. So he slides, sees the DB's not sliding with him. He's just going to try to react, played it pretty decent, and then he dips his shoulder so the DB misses, because the DB's going to be trying to hit that shoulder, going to try to knock you off this route. So he slides, DB misses, and then he restacks him and then gets upfield into this route. The DB knows he's beat on this, because when they try to get their hands on your shoulders to knock you off this platform, as they should, and we dip that shoulder, there's really no defense for that if he misses like he just did. And there's no recovery from the offhand because he dips that and he's still accelerating out full speed. So slide him right, dip that shoulder, get some separation. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So slide him right, dip the shoulder, have him miss, get on top, and then come in and out of this route. That's a great job running it out versus taking an inside release on an out. So this is some game footage here. Now I want you to see he's going to just take this little hesitation move and then a 1-2, okay? So let's watch this thing full. Little hesitation right here, 1-2. Gets on top of him, stick, and then catches this ball. So let's talk about this release, okay? So, little hesitation here, 1-2. Okay, now, again, I want you to see how much he stays inside of his frame and how his head and shoulders go. That's what gets him separation. It's not, his feet aren't super wide. That's not explosive, guys. We got to stay within our frame. It's very similar. You see Odell make releases off the line. He's just so good with his head and shoulders and his moves at the top of the route that he doesn't need to step so far. We don't need to step crazy far. So 1-2 stays with in his frame. You can see this. He's not stepping far. Toes are straight forward, pushing off the inside arch, being explosive. But what gets this DB to turn his hips and gets him to jump inside is because he gives head and shoulder movement to the inside, and he's violent with it. We got to be violent with our upper half. So 1-2 gets him whiffing, gets him on the inside here, avoids the contact. Again, sometimes we got to stay out of the range of this DB. DB's hand goes here. We're not just going to run right into his hands. We're going to avoid that and then get back on top of him. So he avoids the contact, and then what does he do? He gets back on top of the route. That's part of the release too. We got to get in this position where we restack him so he's trailing our back hip. That's a great job off the line of scrimmage, just using this little hesitation hop. 1-2, head and shoulder movement to the inside, very violent, gets the DB jumping to the inside. As you can see here, off balance because we were violent with our upper half and having sudden feet staying within our frame. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So 1-2, gets him to whip, over the top, look over that back shoulder, catch this ball, get your feet down. Okay, so now this is a release where he's going to be running like a stop route, but he's going to take an outside release. So again, he gives kind of the same, it's almost the same release again. So a little hesitation, 1-2. Now it's a better angle at his shin. His knee, you could see how his shin is angling down almost at like a 45-degree angle right here. His knee looks like he's about to touch the ground. Head and shoulder movement to the inside. Gets this DB leaning towards the inside. He doesn't quite open up the gate, but that's just enough for Jerry Jeudy to take this outside release on him. So he's here. 1-2, gets him to open up just a tad because of that head and shoulder movement, because of how explosive his feet were, and because of how he's pushing off of this inside arch, which allows him to attack the outside and get leverage on him, which ultimately lets him swat him by and then get into this route. That's a great job utilizing this double move, using this crossover so he comes off. 1-2, stays within his frame, right? That's what I'm talking about, keeping your toes straight forward. That's a perfect example of keeping your toes straight forward, head and shoulder movement to the inside to get some separation. Let's watch this thing full speed. So 1-2, head and shoulders. That's the most common thing in all of his releases. His feet are sudden. It's not complicated. He uses a double move, foot fire. We're going to talk about a foot fire right now. And that 1-2 is so explosive because he stays within his frame, pushing off the inside arch, and his head and shoulder movement is what gets him the separation. It's not just about your feet. It's about your hands, feet, and your upper half. That's what gets you separation. And that comes from reps upon reps upon reps. Now he's going to be working. He's going to take an outside release, and he's going to be running a comeback on this route, and he's going to be doing a foot fire release, and then same thing, just a crossover. So let's watch this thing full speed. So foot fire, 1-2, gets some leverage, sells the fade, and then snaps it down and catches this ball. Let's watch this. Let's break this thing down. So coming off the line here, again, DB is kind of trying to take away the inside, but Jeudy's got to take an outside release, and he wants some room because he's going to be running a comeback. You might ask, why wouldn't he just go there right now? Because if he just goes there right now, all this DB's going to do is get hands on him and force him into the sideline, which isn't giving him a lot of room for his quarterback. So he knows that he's got to work him to the inside. So what does he do? DB's off a little bit, right? So he's got to go foot fire. You got to give a little foot fire release, close the gap with this DB. So he's got fast hands, fast feet, closes the gap. He's sitting right here. DB's sitting, so he knows, let's just give him a 1-2 and let's just get out of here. So he comes off, foot fire, 1-2. Again, within his frame. He's a little tall right here, and I think he'd tell you that. He could get a little bit lower, but this 2 steps 1-2, or within his frame. Toes are staying straight forward. He's exploding off the inside arch of his foot because that's how he knows he's going to get some separation. Head and shoulder movement to the inside again. And now on the first move, too, he makes it all look the same. Head and shoulders on the first move. So one, head and shoulders, bam, explosive back out on the second move. That's what we need, guys. We got to have our upper half working with our lower half. Almost like we're running here. Gets this DB jumping to the inside. Gets him cheating pretty much to the inside. And now what I want you to see here is this DB recovers with this inside hand or that outside hand. And Jeudy has a plan for his upper half, too. It's not just about your feet. It's about your hands, too. And he swats him off. You want to pretend like this DB has crap underneath his fingernails. Comes off, 1-2, get those hands off of him. And now this is a bad position for this DB to be in. He recovered actually pretty decent, but when you got one of the best route runners in the game right now, this is a very tough position to be in when he's breaking upfield, selling vertical. He's trailing him. Now you don't know where he's going to be going. That's a great job by Jeudy getting some separation that he needed off the line to take this outside release, working this DB inside to give his quarterback room to work on a comeback. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So bam, bam, 1-2. Get those hands off of him. Let's sell the fade, snap it down, catch this ball on a comeback. So now he's going to be running a corner right here. Now I want you to see his eyes. I want you big focus to be on his eyes. As you can see right there, he rounds his break, catches this ball, toe taps for a big game. Let's watch this thing. Let's break this thing down. So off the line here, this DB, obviously he's off right here. He's not going to try to press him, okay? So he's got to get his eyes to the inside. His eyes are going to go to the inside to get this DB. See? He commits his shoulders to the inside. It's going to be 2 steps. Eyes to the inside, shoulders to the inside. What does it do? Gets this DB to open up his hips. Selling like he's maybe just going to take an inside release, run a dig, maybe just run a drag, whatever it may be, but he's got his eyes to the inside too. Sudden stick, again, head and shoulder movement. You could see it, and he's not lunging way out there. He's not picking his shoulders up, right? He's keeping a good explosive pad level 1-2. Gets this guy running to the inside, completely turned his hips. Man across the board, right? Man coverage. So he knows all he's got to do, beat him off the line. We'll get some separation. So eyes and shoulder to the inside. Get this DB to turn his hips right here. And now Jeudy's off to the races. His hips are facing towards the inside. Jeudy's already exploding up into this corner route. And that's how he got so much separation. This guy's playing catch up the entire time. That's a great job by Jeudy using his eyes. Your eyes will tell lies, guys. So he comes off and it's just 1-2 to the inside, head and shoulders, sudden stick, very explosive, keeping those toes straight forward, good explosive pad level, and then bursts up into this route. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So off the line here, 1-2, get him jumping to the inside, then let's get up into this route. Let's hit this thing full speed, catch, toe tap for a great job. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, guys, and please leave in the comments anybody you would like to see me break down next. I really appreciate that, and I'll see you guys next time.